All right, so we know that TechDisc was able to find the furthest flying disc for me, both forehand and backhand. For forehand, it came up with this Goliath Discs slingshot, and for backhand, it ended up going with the Destiny. Both of those discs are now in my bag. They're doing absolutely great for me, really getting me more distance on shots where I can throw a full flight. But it got me wondering, is TechDisc going to be able to do this for other people, and mainly players of completely different skills? So I ended up doing something this week. I took the TechDisc out to my local league, and I had two very different players throw the TechDisc. We gathered that data. I have it loaded here in some throw sets. I'm going to pull those up for you real quick. All right, so here you see the data that we ended up collecting. We had an 850 rated player. His average speed was 45.9 miles per hour, a spin of 806, a nose angle of 0.6. He actually is doing a great job of keeping nose down. He had a decent number of throws that were actually nose down and had a negative number here. And then we had a 950 rated player throw, and his speed considerably more. You see it's considerably more than my throws as well. So 65.9 miles per hour, a 1200 average spin. So absolutely a crazy amount of spin on that disc. And we're going to take these two throw sets. We're going to load that data into a throw, and then we're going to find the disc that would have flown the furthest for each one of these individuals. So I'm going to get that loaded up. We'll go through it, and then we'll jump over to Infinite's website, and we'll find out what disc is going to be the best one for these individual players. And then after this happens, maybe we'll make sure that those players get those discs and make sure that it works in the field for them just like it did for me. All right, so here we go. We have that first player, the 850 rated player, loaded up here. You see we've got the speed and the spin and everything in there. We're going to go ahead and simulate that first throw. And you see right now we have a 13.6 -2 in there as the disc. And with that throw, we got 250 feet. So we're going to go ahead and, since we know this player is throwing at a considerably lower speed than I normally do, let's go ahead and just disc down a little bit. Let's go to a 12 speed and see if we get further or shorter. We know that from working on this for me, as you go down to a lower speed, it did not necessarily increase the distance that you were throwing. And there you end up seeing 247. So once again, going down to a lower speed disc did not necessarily help us. We already are at glide 6. We had that turn set at -2. Let's go up to -3. That's definitely getting more turn out of the disc, and still ended up a shorter distance at 247. I'm just curious. Let's go ahead and do the 12 speed at the 3. And shorter still, 240. So let's go ahead and lower the weight further. Let's put the turn back at 2. Let's keep the glide up there, and let's turn this up to 12.5. And really, we're just trying to play around with these combinations and find a disc that ends up going the furthest. So there, we're back to the 250 range. Let's go way down on speed. Let's go down to let's go down to a 9 speed, so a fairway. And there with that one, we ended up getting 238, so considerably shorter. Let's back it up to a 10, lower the weight even further. There we go, we got that one, 244. Let's go up to an 11 speed. Lower the turn just a little bit. 247. So still haven't beat the original, which was 250. Here's a 12 speed with that low weight. There we go. First one that we got out over 250. So finally at least beating the original. So we have the speed up to 12, the glide at 6, turn at -2.5, and the weight we have down at 165. Let's go a little bit lighter. Trying to squeeze everything we can out of this thing. Back down to 252. So let's go a little bit heavier. Back up to 253. We can increase speed just a little bit here. And there we go. We got 258 on that one. So at a 13 speed, let's just try and go a little bit lighter. .258 as well. Let's go a little bit lighter still. Still 258. So again, we'll just keep going until we get it to go either shorter or longer. Okay, there we go. Finally shorter. So really the range was 163 all the way up to 167. And I guess let's bump it up to 14 just to see what it does. And the 14 longest distance yet at 263. Let's play around with the weight again at that range. Still 263. .262. So looks like we can go up to about 165. All right, so there you have the numbers for our 850 rated player. We were able to get 263 feet out of a 14 speed with a 6 glide, a -2.5 turn, and a 1.5 fade with a 165 gram disc. So we're going to jump over to Infinite and we're going to see if we can find a disc for this guy. So there we go. We got that set at 14 to 15. We'll go glide 6 to 8. The turn we have is -2.5. I'm going to give ourselves just a little bit of a range here. So let's go -3 to -2. And then we'll go down to the fade of 1.5. So I'll do a little bit of a range here too. And we'll go 1 to 2. Okay, so we have no discs in that range. So let's bump this back up. And let's just see, it says we have 28 discs. It's probably just a single model then. All right, and it came back with the same disc that it recommended for me, which is the West Side Destiny. And there's also the Daredevil Albatross, which I don't think that one was there for me. Let's see what that one looks like. So it's a 14.6, -2, 3. And people say it flies more like a -1.5, so that would mean it's a little bit more stable. So I don't think this would be a good disc for the 850 rated player that we had throwing it. Interesting that it came out with the Destiny for this individual as well. I wonder if that's going to end up working out well for them. We'll have to get that tested out and see how it goes. The other individual, let's go ahead and do this for our 9 50 rated player. So we're going to jump back into TechDisc. We're going to change over these numbers. All right, so now let's give this a try for our 950 rated player. So we have his numbers loaded up. You see the 65.9 for speed, 1214 for spin. We still have the disc set up as the disc that our 850 rated player was throwing. Let's go ahead and give this a toss with the new player's flight numbers and see what kind of distance we get out of that same disc. And that's what we would expect. Turned it over and turned it into a roller. So we know that this player is throwing with a lot more speed, a lot more spin. So they need more of a stable disc. The first thing we're going to do, let's just up the weight and see what kind of difference it has. I'm going to expect this is still going to turn over into the ground. Yep, big time roller there as well. It's crazy that the distance on something that's turned over is still basically further than what we ended up getting the 850 player to throw it. So same disc, and it's going further for somebody who's throwing it straight into the ground than the person who got the full flight out of it. All right, so now let's go ahead and beef this thing up. We're going to make it more stable. We're going to take that down to 1.5 for turn. We'll give that a throw. So still turned it over to the right. We got that one out there to 325 feet though. So we want to add some more stability in here yet. Going down to 0.5. That one's considerably straighter. And that was absolutely launched. So we got that out to 495 feet. I'm going to go a little bit lower yet. Let's go to a -1 and just see what happens. Oh, that was the wrong way. My bad. So I'm going to go with 0 and see if that gets us even more than that 495 foot throw. I don't think it's going to. It did not. So let's try -1. And it looks like it's tracking. Okay, that was the 385. So we like that -0.5. Let's go ahead and go down in weight a little bit here. Let's go down to a 171. It's tracking on a very similar line. Can we get it out past 500? No, 487. So let's shoot the middle, 173. And that's in between those two flight lines. So it's definitely 492. So still not further. Definitely likes 175 better. Is there anything else that we can really do here? Let's try and give it more glide. Again, my experience has been glides over 6, don't do anything different. And again, looks like it's tracking on that same 495 line. So definitely no different in upping the glide. And then same thing with speed. My experience with speed is anything over 14, it doesn't really go any higher. And there you see it once again. It's on that same exact line that the 14 speed was on. So looks like we are getting a 14.6, -0.5 at 175. Let's try one additional thing here. So let's take this back to 0, and then let's dial the weight back a little bit and just see if that gives us a different result. It's definitely straighter. Only 475. Let's dial the weight back a little bit further. And that's getting more right, but it's not going to beat the 495. So I think our best bet really here is the 14.6 -0.5, 175. All right, so let's get Infinite loaded up with our 950 rated player. We're going to do that speed of 14. We're going to set the glide at 6 and above. We're going to set our turn to be, we'll do between -1 and 0. Okay, looks like we have discs in that range. And then the fade was 3.5. So we'll end up putting in from 3 to 4. And let's see what discs are available. Okay, it looks like our TechDisc is suggesting the Loft Discs Boreum as the disc for our 950 rated player. So it did come up with different discs. Again, it's very interesting to me that for the lower arm speed, it came up with the same disc that it came up with me, which was the Westside Destiny. But for the player with a much higher arm speed, it did end up coming up with a different example, and it's this Loft Discs Boreum. So I'm going to get back with both of these players, let them know the disc that it selected for them, and then we'll have to get them out to the field, throw it, and see if it ends up working out for them. Thanks for watching. If you like this type of video, make sure to like and subscribe.